My father, he thought that he could trick me. He thought he could go behind my back and do something very disgusting with someone I know. Well, I found out about it, and little does he know, it might be illegal. And I'm going to turn him into the justice system.
Ever since my mom remarried, I've done nothing but cause her trouble because I refuse to trust my stepfather. Today, my suspicions have sort of become a reality, but I'm not happy. Also, I'm not completely sure what I found out, but deep down I know what I have to do. And I'm scared that if I look now, what I find is going to break my mom's heart. It's probably very confusing, so let me give you context. My name's Talia, I'm 19, female. And I already mentioned, I've never been a fan of my stepfather, Tony. He's 52. Ever since he started dating my mom, May. My real dad was a really talented magician. And, he just vanished into thin air before I was born. No pun intended. They weren't married yet, but were planning to, and that is why my mom kept me. So after my father left, my mom had to raise me all by herself. And I could not comprehend how hard it was. Of course, I did not make it any easier for her. And whenever I think back, I feel really bad for being a bad child. But she never complained once. And that's why I've always believed that my mom was the strongest person I knew. That is also the main reason I had a hard time accepting the fact that it was good for her to date when she started dating. I was 13 then, and at first I didn't like that she was going on dates because it made me think that she was going to stop caring about me. I know that this was very stupid and I was a child, but I quickly realized what I was doing. She had given me all her time and energy for so many years and sacrificed countless things, and I understood that I was being stupid and learned to be happy for her. She dated a few different guys and then landed on Tony, who made her very happy. A few months later, the things started to look a little serious, and when she brought him home, I understood that it was probably a permanent thing. Still, Mom waited a long time for me to adjust to him, and I did. Tony was a calm and kind person and was great at most stuff. He was very close to being the perfect guy, which was weird to me. For some reason, I could not shake the feelings that there was something wrong with him. And since Mom's relationship was getting stronger every day, I decided to look into it. I tried countless times, but I found nothing wrong with him. As far as I knew, he didn't do drugs, he didn't smoke, didn't have any side chicks. Hell, he didn't even drink that much. The man had no problems at all. This was an issue for me because I believe that everybody has issues and problems. On the outside, I had a perfect life too, but I also had many things wrong with it. That's how life is, or at least that's what I believe in. And Tony did not make sense to me. My gut kept telling me that there was something and I should keep looking. A year later, my mother asked if I was okay with him getting married. I agreed. My intuition had not changed at all, but I had started doubting myself because who wouldn't after a year of finding nothing? Plus, both I and my best friend believed that I was just being protective of Mom. I guess Mom sensed this and Tony asked me for permission himself. He said that he would always keep her happy and that I had to believe him because he did keep her happy. He made her happier than I'd ever seen her. So, they got married and then things started to get way worse. Not for Mom, not for Tony, but for me. A little more than a year later, Mom found me going through Tony's stuff after he came back from a trip. And I, without thinking, told her everything. Imagine how she felt when I said that I still didn't trust him and was actively trying to find proof against him. I didn't say exactly what, but that's probably what she felt I was doing. I'd never seen my mom get so angry as she got that day and asked me to stop doing this and trust my stepfather. She said that she wanted us to get along because now we're both family too. I apologized and promised that I was done, but I was not. And I caught a few more times again, doing it over and over, looking through his stuff. About a year ago, Tony found me going through his phone because I was sure that he was at least talking with another girl when he saw me. Well, that was the last time I did anything like that because it made my mom cry. And I broke her heart. I told her I was never going to do it again, Mom. I even apologized to that jerk Tony. After that day, I truly did stop looking for what was wrong with him. I accepted him as my stepfather and decided that Tony was the one, of the few men in this world who were actually close to being perfect. I still had doubts, but I stopped listening to them. Well, it turns out I should probably start playing the lottery, because that gut feeling is always right. Or at least I think so based on what I saw today. I believe that I stopped doubting Tony and stopped snooping around, he would start to get careless. Of course, he was not doing anything out in the open, but he stopped being super careful about everything. And this led me to see him entering a hotel with a girl. Oh, do you know what? Yeah, do you know what? Well, today, I was returning from college. I decided to take the long way home because I had some work. While coming, I stopped at a place to have a few donuts just because, and immediately saw a guy who resembled Tony walking with somebody. Right then and there, I got my order, so I looked away for a second and they vanished. So I ran in the direction hoping that they were going and managed to see Tony go into a hotel, holding hands with a girl. I obviously could not see the girl properly and only saw her hand, and it's too far away, but I was shocked because this was not a place he would have any other reason to come to. And I was right all along. He was just another cheater who was good at covering their tracks. I had to tell somebody, so I called Riley, my best friend. But she did not pick up the phone, and I sent her a text telling her, please call me ASAP. And I summarized the situation in the text. Right then, my mother called me, and I had to rush home. Guys, a few hours later, Riley called me back, and we met for coffee. By the way, I think I forgot to explain this, but Riley and I have been friends for over a decade, and she's the only person who has known about my doubts longer than Mom. She's never liked me doubting Tony, and, well, she thinks that he is a good person, but does help me when I need it. After hearing my story, she carefully diagnosed that I had gone completely crazy. She said that I've been doing well and have given this up, so why would I continue doing it? I told her that it's because I saw him cheat with my own eyes, but she thinks that I want to believe it so badly that my mind is making tricks on me. She believes that I did see him enter with somebody, but that didn't necessarily mean that he was cheating. It could be that he was doing something else. She thinks that I've gotten so desperate that I would frame him. So, I promised her that I was not going to do anything without proof. Plus, I wouldn't want her to hurt my mom or anything like that again. But she refused to help me when I asked her to watch Tony with me tomorrow. She says it's wrong to do that, and she wants me to forget what I saw and move on with my life. She then asked me why I was so interested in breaking up my mom's marriage. She said that even if I was right, she was just going to experience pain. I understand that, and I want my mom to be happy too, but I cannot let this go so easily. Riley has refused to move a muscle, so it looks to me like I'll have to do this alone. But because of what she said, I'm having second thoughts. Is it really right for me to do this? What do you guys think I should do? Please, I don't know anything about what to do. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. When I tell you this is going to change into one of the craziest stories ever, I'm not joking at all. That's because, well, he is up to something, and you're going to find out what. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button for daily stories just like this one. Here's the first update a few weeks later. Hey guys, it's been about a week or so since my last update, and I'm still having a hard time understanding what just happened to me. Nothing makes sense, and I want you guys to help me because I feel like life just played a prank on me. Well, let me tell you what happened. So, literally early in the morning the next day, Riley calls me up and asks me if I was going to do it anyways. I said yes, and she said that she was coming with me to help me. I was so happy and thought to myself that I was so lucky to have a friend like her in my life. I actually thought that I didn't deserve a friend like her. And I was right, but just not in the way I was thinking it. Anyways, we went and followed Tony as best as we could. At about 1 o'clock, he came out of the office and got into his car with a woman. We closely followed behind, and I was sure that we had already struck gold. Tony stopped by a restaurant and sat at a table with her, and we settled in a place where we could just take pictures of him enjoying the date. Riley kept trying to make excuses for him until Tony kissed the woman out of nowhere, and I was too shocked to even react. Riley almost screamed, and then she got the shot, and I was so happy that she came with me. After we got what we needed, we left, and we agreed to meet at a dinner just to expose Tony at our house. So, I spent hours thinking about how Mother was going to take the news, but I knew I had to do it. So I prepared myself for it, and I waited. Finally, the time came, and Tony had not yet come home. This was better for me because I could not just tell Mom everything without worrying about him butting in. So I brought Riley in and told my mother I had something to tell her. I explained everything to her, and I could see her not believing a word coming out of my mouth. I told her how sad it made me to do this, but it was true. She told me I've lost my damn marbles. So I asked Riley to confirm the story and give the proof. I was ready to console my mother right then and there, but the words that came out of Riley's mouth made me feel sick to my stomach. She told my mother that I had a problem, and that I wasn't going to stop until I successfully framed Tony. I asked her what she's talking about, and she told me to shut my trap. She then confirmed that part of my story about following Tony and him being with a girl was true, but refused to admit on the kiss. She literally backstabbed me for some unknown reason. She said that they've never kissed, and I had begged her to Photoshop them kissing to convince my mom. Yeah, well, right then, Tony came in and asked what the hell's going on. Well, he then told me that he had already cleared the meeting with my mom and it was a business meeting. And I could simply not believe what was happening, and neither could my mom. She starts to break down crying, but I could only think of one thing. Why did my best friend treat me like that? She asked me why I did it, and I just looked at Tony and told him that I was not going to let him get away with this. At this point, Mom said that she had enough of me and asked Tony to get my stuff. She then threw me out of our house and told me never come home again. I didn't even get to defend myself. I had no defense, so it wouldn't have made a difference. It's been 6 long days since then, and I've moved in with my cousin, who has been an angel in my crisis. The only thing I don't understand is why Riley did this to me. She has blocked me on everything, which is the thing I should be doing, but I have no idea what's going on. Please, what would you do if you found yourself in my shoes? Updates. Number 2. Hey guys, it's been just over 2 weeks and I have just learned something that cannot be true at all. After my last update, I saw many people suggesting something was impossible. They were saying that the only way Riley would do this, of it making any sense, is if she was actually helping Tony instead of me. I never even gave the theory of that, because it was crazy to think that they would be in cahoots. Firstly, yes, Riley has always liked my stepfather, but she loves me a lot more, or at least that's what I believed. Second, she had helped me countless times to look for proof against him, and lastly, she had been my best friend for over a decade. Obviously, I could not believe comments like that and kept thinking that she might have a reason for doing it. But I was also not stupid enough to convince myself that she did this for my own gain. I could not stop thinking about this and asked my cousin Monica for help. Luckily, she was happy with helping me after listening to my situation and started going after following Riley whenever she got time. I, on the other hand, decided to focus on finding new proof about my stepfather. A week passed and I had found nothing, which made me think that my stepdad had gone back to being careful, which meant that I was not going to find anything. But a few days ago, Monica came back with something that I still cannot believe. Well, that day I had gotten sick and I did not even go to college. Forget watching someone, I didn't feel like it. Around midday, Monica came back and told me that she had found something out that I was simply not going to believe. I said that after what happened with my mother, there wasn't much that could surprise me, but go ahead. Oh boy, was I wrong. It turns out that she ran into Riley buying a gift and followed her, believing that she was probably meeting with her boyfriend. But Riley was actually meeting with Tony, who was in a disguise of some sort, a mustache. She said she barely recognized him and that they were on a date. Monica saw Riley give him the gift and she gave him a kiss, after which they left in his car and she lost them, and I can't tell you how shocked I was to hear what she had witnessed. And like I already said, I still can't believe it. My cousin thinks that the woman I saw him with the first time was probably her too. If I look at it from an objective perspective, it makes sense that she was telling Tony, and because of it, he was always one step ahead of me. But it can't be true because she's an 18-year-old child, compared to a 52-year-old man. I know he's having an affair with someone, but it can't be her. Maybe he used her or something, but I can't believe that they're actually dating, having an affair. I told Monica the same thing, but she thinks that I'm being stupid because I love my friend. I do believe now that she helped Tony, but I just find it so hard to believe that she would also do that to both me and my mom. I don't think she's capable of it, but I guess we'll find out. Update number 3. Whatever I said about Riley in the last update, I take it all back. She's actually a disgusting person just as much as Tony is. It's been a week, and yes, they're sleeping together. But I don't have the proof. But I do have an idea that I believe is going to work, or at least I'm hoping it will. This time, while following Tony, I myself saw them meet, and they went into a hotel in the same manner. Monica was right, she was sleeping with Tony when I called her, and that's why she tried her best to stop me from going after him. But something changed that night because the next day she agreed to help me. I've also figured that out. I think when she told Tony everything, he asked her to come with me and put on a show so that I would be confident and tell my mom. He wanted to eliminate me completely from the household, as this way he could happily do whatever he wanted. This way, I also could not get back and convince my mother even with proof. So it was more or less a foolproof plan. But he forgot a small little detail. See, Mom is not the only person I can expose him to. I know Riley lied to me, but I also know that our decade-long friendship was not an act either. So she recently flipped. That means their affair's probably only a year old or a little older than that, I can guess, because before that, there was no way Riley could have ever been anywhere close to him. I know it's not very new, because it would take him almost a year to turn her against me. However, since Riley only turned 18 a few months ago, you know what that means? Tony's been with her, at the very least flirting with her, when she was a minor. I now know what's wrong with them, and my quality of life depends on whether I can prove it or not. So you can say that I'm very motivated. It feels unbelievable to me that I was getting hoodwinked by my own best friend. And she was probably telling him everything I told her. I've decided to deal with her after I deal with Tony. He needs to go first. So I've created a fake social media profile, and I do feel bad for this, but I've used some pictures of a 16-year-old we found online. Don't worry, we used AI to change the face, but it can't be backtracked. With the help of Monica, I've made the account look authentic and have connected with him. I'm waiting for him to text first because I know that he will. It's tough to wait, but patience is a key to this plan. And if I don't keep my cool, I can't catch him red-handed. By the way, I'm planning on making him knowingly flirt with a 16-year-old and forcing him to ask her out, at which point he'll go to jail. Please pray that this works because I pretty much have nothing left. Final update. Hey guys, sorry for the long wait. It's been over a month and I'll happily spoil the fact that the plan worked and a few more things have happened. But first, since this will be my last update, I want to start this by thanking you guys for being there with me throughout all of this drama. I really appreciate your help. So, it took over a week for Tony to even take the bait, but he did because he was such a sick person. I'd clearly labeled a 16-year-old in the bio and mentioned it when we started chit-chatting. Honestly, I thought that it was going to take some time, but I was very, very wrong. Just another week later, he asked me out. With absolutely no worries and just minimal flirting, he asked me to come see him at a restaurant and was probably hoping to take me to a hotel next. But unfortunately, he was in for a really bad day. By the time our date rolled around, I changed the plans and mentioned in my last update. So, he came to the date looking very happy, but his expression drastically changed when he found me waiting for him at the restaurant. He could not believe his eyes and actually tried to leave until I texted him from the minor account, telling him that I was going to ruin his life. Oh, he came back all right, very, very quickly. Guys, he apologized, did this little dance, and cried. But I told him I wasn't interested in that, buddy. I told him that I was going to send him to jail, and there was only one way to avoid it. I told him that he needed to give me evidence of his affair with Riley and that I want to destroy her life more than this. Well, this was not really true. I definitely hated him more than Riley, but you'll soon understand why I did that. He was hesitating until I asked him to choose, and he chose not to go to jail. The second thing I wanted him to do was come clean with my mom about everything he's done till now, including accepting the fake account. I kind of forced him to tell Mom everything, and I really did not think that he would and thought that I would just have to do it myself, but he did it. He went home crying and told Mom everything. All the affairs he had, everything. Guys, she kicked him out of the house and called me to apologize. I acted like I didn't know what happened and told her it's okay, and that I was glad that he decided to come clean himself. The next day, early in the morning, I moved back home. And after a few hours, Tony sent me proof in the form of messages and photos, which was more than enough. Then I shared all the evidence I had of Tony linking up with a minor, including the fake account with the cops, and got him arrested. I feel great thinking that before getting taken by the police, he felt betrayed and probably hurt that I went back on my word. I wanted him to think that he was safe. Now the only one left is Riley. And by then, she's called me 100 times. I'm just assuming that Tony told her what happened before getting arrested. I didn't do much to her, though. I just took all the evidence I had about her sleeping with Tony, and I sent it to her parents and her boyfriend. That's it. I felt that they had the right to know what was going on in their life. The last thing she sent me was a message that said, "What did you do?" It's been about 2 weeks since then, and if you're wondering, I've told Mom everything I did, and she was not very happy with it, but she's not mad. Tony's in jail, and he's not going to be getting out anytime soon. As for Riley, the last I heard about her was that her boyfriend broke up with her and her family disowned her. Now she is all alone, just trying to make ends meet, you know. And that's it. That's it. I'm a little sad about everything that happened, but I don't regret doing anything at all. I don't regret one thing. Well, guys, that's it from my side. Goodbye.